Do you like scary movies? Did I like this one? Well, actually, yes I did, but let's discuss why. Welcome to the Cinefanatics. My name's Robert Adams, and I am here today with a completely 100%, you don't have to worry about jack shit, spoiler-free review for Scream 6. And again, I'm going to reiterate because I am long-winded sometimes. This is spoiler-free. Feel free to watch this entire video. There are no spoilers in here whatsoever because that is the best way to enjoy a Scream movie. I absolutely love the fact, before going into this movie, that there was a Scream movie that existed that I didn't know the ending to. Because everyone knows the best part of a Scream movie is trying to guess who the killer or killers are before going in to see it. And that's what makes it so much fun, so enjoyable, and it just fills me with like so much excitement to know there's a movie out there that I could get into, that I could enjoy because I love horror movies, and that has a twist, that has killers that I don't know who they are, and I love the fact that that exists. So yeah, going into this movie, I was already pumped and excited. Now, real quick, before I get into the full review, I will lay it all out on the table. After Scream 4, I was like, why? Why are we continuing this franchise? I am a person that fully believes that the Scream franchise was very well wrapped up within the trilogy of Scream 1 through 3. I think, like, despite what people say about Scream 3, I think it ended quite nicely, had a nice little cherry on top. But then they pushed through with Scream 4, and then obviously it didn't go anywhere from that movie. Unfortunately, a lot of that may be due to the passing of Wes Craven, rest in peace. But yeah, nothing happened beyond then, and then they made Scream 5. And I was like, why? Watching Scream 5, watching Scream 5, I was wondering, is there really a need for this movie to exist, and why? What does it what's new to it? Yes, it talks about requels and all that stuff, but like still, I was like, I don't know. It was a fine movie, I enjoyed it, but I don't feel like it really brought too much new to the table. Now we jump ahead to Scream 6. We are already familiar with these characters because of Scream 5, and now we're building upon this whole new world of these characters within the world of the entire Scream franchise, and I feel like this movie was exactly what I was expecting them to do. This is a movie that goes in a forward direction that left me super excited, super happy that it exists, and now I'm super excited for what could be down the line because it's already been announced that there's going to be a Scream 7 and it apparently starts shooting later this year. But let's get into the good with this movie. First off, right off the bat, hats off to Radio Silence. Radio Silence is a production collective made up of Matt Bertinelli-Olpin, Tyler Gillette, and Chad Villella. And so far, they've been doing very good, like, in the horror movie realm. They've made the fantastically done Ready or Not, starring Samara Weaving, and then they also have been a part of the VHS anthology horror franchise pretty much ever since the first VHS back in 2012. So, very excited that they are doing good things. They did do Scream 5, and again, wasn't necessarily a huge fan of it, but I think what they added to the franchise pays homage to what came before it, and especially with this movie, I'm eager to see what they do going forward. So hopefully they have hands involved with Scream 7 because those are some good hands to be in. Moving forward, let's talk about the cast in this. We got a lot of the major main cast coming back from Scream 5. Just in case you haven't necessarily seen Scream 5, I'm not going to really ruin that one, give spoilers on that as well, but the returning characters, I am happy to see them back, and I feel like they are a lot more fleshed out in this movie. I feel like they did a very good job with what they were trying to achieve, made it a lot more personable, and I believe like the pain that they're going through after coming back from Scream 5. I think they did a phenomenal job in this movie. Other than the main cast that is returning, I will also shout out a couple other new characters, namely Samara Weaving, again, who's coming from Ready or Not with her co-star in that movie, Henry Sursney, and I think both of them do a fantastic job. I will also call out Tony Revolori, who, I mean, if you're a fan of the MCU, the Marvel Spider-Man movies, you know who Tony Revolori is, coming in as Flash Thompson. His character in this movie is not Flash Thompson, and I think he does a phenomenal job pulling off this character in this movie as well. But as far as the rest of the cast goes, I feel like everyone is brilliant. It was nice to see Hayden Panettiere come back as well. I think she does a phenomenal job in this movie. Dermot Mulroney, I don't know how else to explain him, but he brought a presence to this movie that was very much needed, and I think he sells it very well. Moving forward, you've also got the story of this movie. I feel like this is a very tight story, and the fact that this movie came out like exactly a year pretty much from the last movie, the fact that they were able to write out a story, crank it out, film it, edit it, produce it, special effects, everything in the bag, crank out some trailers, and get this movie about a year later, fantastic. I think they did a brilliant job with putting this movie together, and I am absolutely in love with how they did that entire process. Generally, I do have the opinion that when you do a sequel to a movie, usually within a year or a year, you're not given enough time to really sit down and read your script and really like, is this the right direction for us to go? This definitely was, and I feel like, honestly, they probably had this already planned out and in the bag before even Scream 5 came out, so very happy to see the positive step forward that they made with this movie, and again, I absolutely loved it. As I said in my Out of the Theater review, and again, if you're not subscribed to the Cinefanatics, we do drop out of the theater reactions real quick, usually about a minute long, right out of the theater. So if y'all saw that, you saw what I said, that this movie taking place in New York is a fantastic departure from Woodsboro. Quick, not spoilery, but I do love at the very beginning, there is a nice little Easter egg there where a character is watching Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, because I know that's a joke that everyone's been making, like, well, let's see if Ghostface can do any better than Jason. Yes, he does, and I love that Easter egg, so thank y'all for sticking that in there. But moving on to, I guess I could call it the bad, the negative. The only real kind of negative takeaway I would say is the connections to Scream 5. It seems very Baron Zemo-esque. If you're familiar with Captain America Civil War, a lot of the stuff that Baron Zemo was trying to do in that movie was very coincidental. Like, things just happened to have fallen into place a certain way for that movie to be successful, and it's kind of outlandish and doesn't really make sense in the course of reality that stuff would happen that way. This movie isn't anywhere near as bad as that as far as drawing those conclusions and those connections, but it still has some that I feel like are very coincidental. You kind of have to suspend your disbelief just a little on that. Again, not going into the details of it, but yeah, it did have a little bit of that, so, you know, movie's got a movie, yo. And I don't even know if I would call this necessarily a negative takeaway. This is a matter of seeing a Scream movie like everyone does. You sit in the theater watching this movie, and as a lover of movies and a lover of the Scream movies, you yourself are sitting there trying to figure out who the killers are the entire time. That being said, I kind of figured out the ending probably within the first third of the movie. I figured out like most of the twists, not all of the twists, but I figured out most of it. And it's one of those things that even if you figure it out, I don't feel like I'm necessarily disappointed. I know some people may be disappointed and be like, well, I saw that coming from a mile away. I don't feel that way. I just feel like really good that I was able to guess it and think I should go write a movie now. Probably not. I'll just stick to YouTube for right now. Let me conquer this first, and then we'll talk about possibly making a movie. Probably not. Anyways, that is definitely your mileage may vary, just depending on if you are that type of person and if you feel like that you have the ability to do that, and if you just happen to catch certain things over the course of a movie while watching it. Not saying that that is brag. I'm not trying to like humble brag over here, because of course, absolutely, there's no way for me to prove to absolutely anyone, including the people that I was talking to sitting next to me before and after the movie, there was no way to prove that I actually was able to guess this. So If you're able to, cool. This was a good movie, and I enjoyed being able to figure things out, and that made it so much more better for me. If I was to rank this movie on a scale of 10, with 10 being the highest, I would easily give this movie an 8. Make sure you follow me on my Letterboxd at RobertAdamsMLP, because I'm going to be dropping a ranking probably tomorrow of the entire Scream series. So if you want to know how I'll rank those, I'll drop them on Letterboxd. I might make a video, a YouTube short, who knows. We'll see how the wind blows on this. But yeah, otherwise, that's gonna do it for this review. Highly recommend this movie. Go see it. It was a blast, and yeah, you're gonna enjoy every minute of this movie. But yeah, that's it for this review. Make sure you follow us on Cinefanatics right here on this channel. Hit like and subscribe, of course. Make sure you follow me at RobertAdamsMLP on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, like I said. Also follow me on YouTube.com/@RobertAdamsMLP. Let me know your thoughts on the movie down below in the comments. I want to read them. I want to know what you think. Were you able to guess the ending? If you're putting spoilers in the comments, though, you can get the f*** out. I mean, I'm just going to tell you right now, there's no place for that, so go away. Anyways, that's going to do it. Thank y'all for watching. We will see you on the next one. Goodbye. My favorite scary movie is The Thing.